Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of Gunman. So today we've got another workshop tour. I've started working at another new shop, so I thought I'd just give you guys a bit of a look around and yeah, look at the workshop that I'm working in now. So the star of the show is going to have to be this one behind me. That's the Standoblue. So it's really good to be back on the Standoblue. So it's a waterborne system. I've actually already done a few videos on this because I used to use this when I was working over there in Perth. So it's very familiar. Even little things like when you're mixing a color up, I know exactly where all the tinters are. Like I haven't used it for probably over a year. But yeah, it's just very, I find it user friendly for me. I find it fast. I find my jobs are coming up much better. And another really good thing is that we use all of the like full Standox system, all of the premium clear coat. So that's the clear that we use, the Standoacryl VOC Performance Pro Clear, the proper hardeners, the proper additives, the proper primers, everything across the board is Standox. And even as far as like the consumables go around the workshop, it's pretty much all top notch. You know, you're probably never gonna find a shop that's got absolutely everything that you like. But on that point, they've actually been very accommodating. So there's been a few things that I'm like, hey, do you reckon we could get that? And they're like, yeah, absolutely, no worries, bang. And you know, within half an hour, or sorry, half a day, the product comes in. So that's really good that they've been accommodating to me. I've gone and made myself a little bit of bench space here. I put my spray guns up there and yeah, just made myself a little bit of a bench space. This is one thing that I picked up from the last shop, is to use microfibers, and I've continued doing that. So I've just got like a little system where the clean ones are here, the used ones are there. So I'll use the used ones on like a panel that's not a blend, and then the dirty ones obviously need to be cleaned. Got my color matching light up there. We've got all the color chips, and that's another thing that's really like so much lightning fast. Like I've only had to match one color since I've been here. Well, two. Okay, one was for me, one was for the other painter. And the one that was from the other painter, the only reason that needed matching is because the front guards had been blended, and you could, like when we got it out into the sun, it was totally different color on the front than the rest of the car. So someone had already like attempted color matching it and a really bad effort at it. So our color looked really good to the rest of the car, but unfortunately we had to color match to the spot that was not original paint. So you can't really blame Standox that their color doesn't match someone else's half-assed blend. But the color matching has just been an absolute breeze. It's basically non-existent with this system. And I actually kept all of my color cards. So you might see down here, these are all my Standox color cards, the bit of a color library that I built up. But look, for the most part, you don't even need it. Like, so pretty much all average everyday cars, they will have a color chip for in here. And if there's a good looking color chip, you don't need to spray your own out. If there ever isn't a color chip, occasionally you don't get them. I'll just do a spectro hit, and then I'll just spray it out and then keep it for future reference. So mainly I do like to have the white pill. So you'll notice here, most of these color chips, they're white, right? So that's because, you know, I mean, I'll get a good idea from these ones, but they might spray it slightly different than me. I might find that 2 coats looks better. I might find that 3 coats looks better. So I do actually like to have my own spray out for the 3 stages, but most of the other colors, it's not even worth it. They use the cheap PPS pots, and I'm not a big fan of them. I actually had them like dripping and leaking on me a few times. Sometimes you'll even just go and put your gun on there and twist it on, and it'll just bust out on you. So they are cheap, but I told my boss about that. I said, man, like I'm waiting for a Porsche to come in, start spraying clear on the bonnet, and then have a drop of clear go on it. And it's like, man, that would well and truly pay for, you know, a few boxes of 3M, like the good PPS, which don't leak. And he's like, man, we'll finish our stock out there, and then I'll get the PPS2 in for you. So that's what I say, like they're very accommodating. You know, they're not scrimping and saving on product or anything. And it's just, look, I had someone, it was actually years ago, they left a comment in, and they said, I will never work at a shop that isn't Standox or Chromax again. Well, Speed's High Tech is the same. And I thought, geez, you locked yourself out of a lot of potentially good shops, and 5 years later, I'm probably there. I mean, it's a big call. Like, I wouldn't say 100% that I would only use Standoblue, but I'm at the point now, after coming back to it, I don't really have any interest in using any other paint system on a daily basis. If whatever happened and I was to leave here, I'd be searching for a Standox shop. So I had someone leave a comment on Instagram recently. He goes, mate, I've been using Sickens, which I haven't used. So he's been using Sickens for the last 2 years, and he said, I'm considering leaving the trade. It's like, wow, it's that bad, is it? But so yeah, like about PPG, like it might not necessarily be that bad compared to like the other paint systems, but just compared to, like, this is a 10 as far as I'm concerned. Standoblue is a 10, so you know, like a 6 or a 7, whatever PPG might be, feels like a bit of a step down. But even the clears, like, because the way that you spray this stuff here, like, it goes on wet, right? So you put one wet coat down, and then it straight away, it's still got to be wet when you do your drop coat, right? Because it's so wet, it's like it's a very silky smooth finish. It's like you're not fighting the texture of the base coat with your clear coat. So like, your clear coat goes on really nice and smooth. The colors are great, it's fast application. Anyway, I'll give you guys a quick look around the rest of the workshop. We've got 2 booths here. I did a batch of prime ups before lunch. Actually got a few cars to prime up, but that one there's white. So I did like a batch of white cars first, and then this is the old clunker of a booth, but it's fine, it does a good job. And this booth here is actually the big one. So yeah, sometimes you find yourself going for the old booth here, and you can still get really nice, good, clean jobs out of it, as you can see here. So I opted to do, so this is a Mazda 3 that I sprayed this morning. I did the parts in this booth because there's a little bit more room, and I did the body in the next booth. I'll take you guys in there. But yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, you get that nice, smooth, clear coat. And another thing that I've found is that I find it easier now to control the orange peel or the finish in the job just by settings, like all the stuff that I used to talk about back in Perth. Like this one's a Mazda, right? I just went ultra tight on the first coat, straight, and did like a round robin type thing. You put your first coat on and then come back to the start, put your second coat on straight away. But let's just say that this was a Porsche or a European car. I'd go heavy with the first coat, right? And then I'd walk out, I'd clean a base coat gun, I'd find something to do for 5 or 10 minutes, come back in, put another heavy coat on, bang, you've got your European finish. The panel beaters do all their work over on that side, and we're over this side. So this booth here is the newer booth. This is actually a Chinese one. I think they bought it from China and then got it installed obviously over here. But it comes with 2 prep bays. So this is the 2 prep bays. That's my prep cart here. Got that pretty well kitted out now. Obviously got my orbital sander there, got my solvents, and I'll be priming these 2 jobs up after, sorry, 3 I think. This one, and then there's another dark coloured one over there. So I'll do these 3 after lunch break, and then I'll go back over and paint that white Nissan that you saw over there at the start of the video. This is another one that we've got to get done, but that doesn't need any primer. So as you see, this one's, well, kind of nearly a respray. It's like all around the bottoms. I think we're not doing the bonnet and bumpers, but something like that. As you see here, this is the rest of the Mazda that I showed you in that other booth there. And have a look at the way that clear coat lays down, like just like a sheet of glass, man. Like, look at it from back there, it's like really nice reflections, even down on this door, and that's just effortless, man. Like, you know, look at that reflection, like you can get a nice amount of clarity out of that. And this one will probably barely even be polished, you know. There might be 1 or 2 here or there, you know, a couple of nibs maybe in the bonnet, but we're not going to go to town on something that looks that good off the gun, you know. I do actually have to do all my own polishing here, so the detailer just does more of the cleaning of the cars. But yeah, they keep up to date with all the cleanliness on the filters, which does help, especially with all the dust and all the ventilation in the booth. Like when you let them go for too long, the overspray hangs around for a bit. But yeah, I'm glad I made the move, guys. I'm actually really busy these days. I've got my own little Tirana back, so that's sat up at my dad's place in the country for 10 years and rusted. So I've been fixing that of an evening in the garage. I've been doing big days, like starting here at 8 in the morning and haven't been finishing until like 10 o'clock out there in the garage at home, but having heaps of fun. So I don't feel like I'm getting burnt out. And when I'm at home, I'm sort of doing it at my own pace. I'll be doing a video series on that Tirana of mine, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something out of it. I probably won't be replying to comments. I've been that busy these days. Like, yeah, but look, I've been well. I'm glad I made the move. Good crew, good bunch of people. The two panel beaters, you barely even hear a peep out of them. One of the painters, well actually both the painters aren't here today. One's a prepper, one's a painter. One of them is actually deaf, so he can't talk, and the other one, he's actually a guy that I used to work with. So it's good to be part of a crew who sort of all just get along. The bosses aren't on your back. They love me. They're happy with the work that I've been doing, and the feeling is mutual. I'm just happy to be here. It's just one of those places. You come here, you do your work, you go home. There's no drama. There's no politics or anything like that. So it's really good. Anyway, guys, hope you did enjoy this video. If you would like to support the show, be sure to check out the link in the description. You can go and buy some Gunman merchandise, including, I think these are actually the Series 1 hoodies, so they're not available anymore, but we've got lots of other different merchandise, spray suits, hats, drink coolers, all that kind of stuff. Anyway, until next time, get out there and paint some shit. Gunman out. Come on, one more flyby over the Mazda. How good is that Standox, mate? How good is it? As I say, straight out of the box. No mucking around, no extra thinners, no this, that, or the other. Loves it, mate. That was one thing I forgot to mention earlier, is that the computer system just seems so intuitive and streamlined and easy to use. Like, this is one thing that they've got. It really does save time. You might not think that it would. Anyway, you go to color, which is your main screen, then go color box or power search, it doesn't matter. And then you've got this barcode system, and then you go, you want to mix your clear up? Bang, straight to your clear. You know, and there's no mucking around, there's no different variants of the clear that you need. It's just one clear, and just straight to it. You've got all your wet on wet primers, you've got your standard, your sandable primers, you've got your plastic wet on wet primer, and all of these color chips here, they've got a little barcode on the back of them. Same thing, you go straight up to your formula. And another really cool thing about this place is, like, you go into the lunchroom and there is just snacks and drinks. There's like Coke, Red Bull, iced tea, there's donuts in there, and it's just help yourself. It's really cool. Like, you know, sometimes I just get a little bit hungry between morning tea and lunch, and I'll just go in there, grab a choco pie, grab a Daniel's donut or something, whatever is in there. So it's really cool. Like, I'd like to say a big thanks to everyone for watching, and if you'd like to support the channel further, you're more than welcome to go over and check out some of the merchandise we've got. My personal favorite is those spray suits. So they're a good quality Colad branded spray suit with the Gunman logo on it. There's also hats, drink coolers, hoodies, and t-shirts, so be sure to go over and check out the link in the description if you are interested.